Coming up, we'll be on location at Medalase Aesthetic Centers in Fairfax, Virginia, discussing the latest med spa treatments and how they can help you look years younger and achieve the beautiful appearance you've always desired with one of this region's top cosmetic surgeons, Dr. Ginnan. Dr. Ginnan is board certified by the prestigious American Academy of Anti-Aging and Regenerative Medicine and received his medical degree from Syracuse Upstate Medical Center. Dr. Ginnan is widely recognized as one of this area's top doctors. Welcome, Dr. Ginnan. It's a pleasure having you on our Top Doctors medical interviews.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
It's your first time, in fact, on our program. We've got
Yes.
a lot to talk about. We've got some patients. They're going to be joining us a bit later. But I wanted to begin, if I may, by having you tell us about some of the treatments that you offer here at Medalase Aesthetic Center, because you all have been helping a lot of folks for a long time.
Yeah, well, we are a full-service medical spa. We offer many of the treatments that people are familiar with medical spas. Everything from laser hair removal to photorejuvenation for sun damage, brown spots, facial redness, little broken blood vessels. We do fractional resurfacing for lines, wrinkles, procedure called clear lift that works very, very well for the crepey skin on the neck or the back of the hands. We do chemical peels. We do what we call a bioenergetic facelift, which helps tone and tighten and lift the face with microcurrent. We also have a body version of that we use to help people reduce localized body fat and help to tighten and tone the musculature on the body, and that can also be used to help people reduce localized pain as well.
All without surgery.
All without surgery.
That's
yes.
Wonderful. Not to mention, obviously, Juvederm and Botox and all the other usual treatments are offered here as well.
Correct. Botox and Juvederm are extremely popular treatments. We have many people coming back for those over and over again. Probably another procedure that's very popular, becoming much more popular, that I really truly love is called dermal microneedling. It's a great way to increase the collagen in the skin, improve lines, wrinkles, texture, scarring. What makes it very nice is because many of the fractional lasers that do those same things also produce a lot of heat. There's a little bit more downtime with those procedures, and for darker skin types there can be a little bit more risk involved with hyperpigmentation or darkening of the skin. With the dermal pen, because there's no heat, the downtime is much less. It's much safer for darker skin types, but we can get similar results over a series of treatments, and people are really enjoying what they're seeing with improvements in texture and lines, wrinkles, and scars.
Very interesting. Sounds like a very effective treatment that you offer right there.
It is, and the great thing about it is because you don't have an extremely expensive laser to pay for, you can provide that treatment to your patient base at a lower cost.
Yes, indeed, especially in this economy, right?
Exactly. I do office-based tickle liposuction, which is a very easy way for people to get rid of localized fat deposits. We do a full suite of plastic surgery procedures as well, everything from facelifts to tummy tucks to breast augmentation. And we also help people with detoxification, weight loss, metabolic optimization, hormone replacement therapy, looking at the internal components of health and aging as well, in addition to all of the external treatments that we do.
Who would you say, Dr. Ginnan, would be the typical candidate that can benefit from the different services that you offer?
I think everybody can benefit from the services that we offer. It really depends on what they're looking for. Maybe when I started in aesthetics 10 or 15 years ago, I thought to myself, oh, this individual is too young for Botox. But I've seen many people over the years, and I've found, sometimes there's a 23-year-old who can be very beautiful, but they have extremely expressive forehead muscles. They talk and they move those muscles a lot, and if they go 3 or 4 more years like that, they're going to be very young with very deep lines in the forehead. So Botox can be a great treatment for them even when they're young to prevent that from happening. On the flip side, we have people who, they've gotten into their 50s and 60s and really haven't thought about it much, and all of a sudden they look in the mirror and they say, what happened? And then we're playing a little bit of catch up, doing a multitude of procedures to try to address all of the various issues of aging, not just skin laxity or sun damage, but also volume loss that we address with dermal fillers. Ideally, I try to treat people before they've gotten too far along in the aging process.
Yes, indeed. And for the folks watching out there and want to know what type of time commitment there may be involved with some of these treatments, I take it obviously the Botox and some of the fillers, they can all come in for and leave within minutes. But
Correct.
As far as some of the other treatments that you talked about, what would they be looking at typically?
So you're correct. Botox is typically a 15-minute treatment. The dermal filler, half an hour, maybe more if we're doing more extensive treatments. Photorejuvenation, laser hair removal, dermal microneedling, many of those treatments are they're packages. People see their best results after a series of treatments. So usually people are looking at 5 treatments, maybe more, depending on their issue. And each visit will be, could be half an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, maybe a little bit more, depending on what we're treating.
Sure, and depending on each particular patient and his or her situation and needs.
Correct.
Now, can a patient elect to undergo a combination of these treatments as opposed to just one or two?
That's my preference. One of the things that I try to explain to people is there are a multitude of processes that have been occurring during your aging life that have led you to this point where you're seeing things when you look in the mirror that, oh, I don't really like this. Because there's a multitude of things that have led to that, you're better off if you do 2 or 3 or 4 different kinds of procedures that address the skin and the underlying structures at multiple levels to be able to get you the best result.
Now, what kind of results can we expect from these treatments?
Well, results vary. The thing that's very important for people to understand is many of the procedures that we are doing, other than things like Botox or filler, they are inducing a response in the patient, and it's that patient's healing response that is ultimately getting them their result. The dermal microneedling, for instance, when we do that procedure, we're creating thousands of little micro wounds in the skin, and it's then that the body's response in healing those micro wounds and creating new collagen, which takes about 6 months to occur. And because everybody's different, everybody can respond differently. But I wouldn't be doing these procedures if the vast majority of people wouldn't see nice results with them. Pretty much everybody's going to see some kind of result. Everybody's going to see an improvement over time. So they're wonderful procedures.
We're now going to meet some patients of Dr. Ginnan and Medalase Aesthetic Centers. Welcome, Anne-Marie. It's a pleasure having you on our program.
Nice being here.
We always appreciate it when patients take time in their busy lives to come down and share some of their experiences with us. And on that note, I'd like to begin, if I may, Anne-Marie, by asking you if you can please tell us, how long have you been a patient of Dr. Ginnan?
Yes, I've been seeing Dr. Ginnan for about 10 years. And the reason I went to him first was always prevention. I've always heard, don't wait till you have an issue to go see a doctor. I've always said, I don't want wrinkles, I don't want dark spots. So I went over there just to start doing any treatment that I can to prevent the wrinkles from coming. And he's been taking care of me ever since.
Oh, so that started, what, about 10 years ago?
10 years ago, yes.
And since then, I take it you've had...
Yes, he knows my face. He knows what I want. There are times when I unrealistically will tell him I want to look like Angelina Jolie, and he will take a chuckle and laugh. But he's very good at making you look natural. If you ask for something and he doesn't think it's quite what fits your face or anything like that, he's very honest, he's very ethical. He will tell you, no, we may want to go this way versus that way. And he's always made me look very natural. So I'm very thankful for that, and that's why I keep coming to him. I love to be in the sun. So I knew realistically I was in my 30s then. And I said, I'm always in the sun, I'm starting to develop brown spots. This is not good for me, so I'm going to attack it. And I went to see Dr. Ginnan, and of course, he didn't like the idea that I was always in the sun and always tanning. That's a no-no for him. He doesn't like that. And he geared me to the right place, and he said, this is what's going to happen if you continue on the path you're going. So I went for that, and the wrinkles, I was starting to get 1 or 2 wrinkles. Botox was the first thing I tried, loved it. And I've been seeing him always for that, to prevent anything else and to maintain what I believe is, I'm almost in my 50s. So I want to look, the 50s look like a 30s or 40s. And
today's 50 is yesterday's 40, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
That's right.
And he's very good at that. So
yes, indeed. Well, that's very important. What you just said is, you know, Anne Marie, whenever we have something done on the cosmetic side, we certainly don't want to look like we had something done.
And we've seen many people out there who look like that.
Yes. And it's great. Like I'm looking at you here, and yes, very beautiful, very naturally beautiful. Doesn't look like you had anything done.
Thank you.
And I think that's very important indeed. I take it you're very happy with the results if you've been coming here that long.
Very happy, very happy. My files are very thick, because I've come here every time he has some new product or some new procedure. I come here to try him out, and it never fails. I always fall in love with what he's got.
Well, we're literally out of time with you, Anne Marie, but I wanted to just ask you before we let you go, what would you tell the folks as far as your experience with not only Dr. Ginnan, but the staff here at Medalase Aesthetic Centers?
They're all professionals. They welcome you as soon as you walk in through the door. They make you feel comfortable. They listen to you. They understand what you want. They prioritize your needs, and you get results. You get results. You walk out of there saying, "Why didn't I do this a year ago?" So they're very professional. They know what they're doing. So great staff.
Well, on that note, I'd like to thank you for joining us, sharing some of your experiences with us, and being a guest on our program, Anne Marie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lisa, it's a pleasure having you on our program as well.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So how long have you been a patient of Dr. Ginnan?
Well, Dr. Ginnan's involved a lot in the community, and I met him through a networking event. I came in at first for a glycolic peel last year, and I'm in the skincare industry, so and a model. So it's a really two competitive industries, so I'm always trying to take very good care of my skin.
Yes, indeed. So you came here about a year ago, as you mentioned, and have you had any other treatments outside of that?
Yes, my favorite one of all. I call it real-life Photoshop. I had the bioenergetic facial.
Oh.
And it's one of those procedures that you come in, they do the procedure on you, you sit up off the table and you look in the mirror and you're like, oh my gosh, you took 5 years off my face.
Oh my God, that's got to be a great feeling, right?
It's amazing.
And as far as the results from everything you have done here, what would you tell the folks? Because you look great. Looks like the results obviously are tremendous, but just wanted to ask you.
I mean, I think that it's important in conjunction with regular maintenance, like peels and facials, and an at-home regimen and healthy eating. You really can tell a difference in your skin. My face is more even after the bioenergetic facial. My face is more lifted and glowing, and it just tells your cells to keep producing and turning over and mimicking that younger skin.
Yes, and especially in your industry, obviously being a model, very competitive indeed. And what I think is very impressive is you have a very natural beauty about you, Lisa.
Thank you.
You don't look like you've had anything done.
Thank you.
And I think that's very important.
I agree.
Now, before we let you go, for the folks watching out there, what would you tell them about your experience with the staff here as well?
Phenomenal. I mean, when I was younger, I worked at Nordstrom's, and they talked a lot about the importance of customer service. And, you know, I've been places before, and they kind of turn you out like fast food company. It's like, next patient. But here you walk in, and they remember your name. They really listen to you and try to help you to achieve those results that you're looking for.
Yes. Well, on that note, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us, sharing some of your experiences with us, and you certainly confirmed what we've heard from many others. They have a very personalized, family-like atmosphere here as well with their patients, and we thank you again for being a guest on our program.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome, Anna. It's wonderful having you on our program.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Now, Anna, I wanted to begin by asking you what brought you to Medalase Aesthetic Centers?
Well, I had some bags under my eyes that were making me look tired and older than my age. And I had actually gone to another doctor to do filler under my eyes, and I wasn't really happy with the results. So I came here to Medalase and I met with Dr. Ginnan, and he provided me with the filler and corrected the problems, and I have to say the results were fantastic and have lasted over a year now, and I haven't even had to have a follow-up. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So you've been a patient of his for over a year.
Yes, yes.
And you came here, you had that done. I mean, it looks great, by the way.
Thank you.
It looked
Thank
great.
you.
And did you have any other treatments beyond that?
I did have the dermal pen, which is kind of a dermabrasion type treatment on the face. And I had some chemical peels, which have kept my skin looking radiant and just really youthful. And I always get compliments on my skin, so I think that's largely due to the treatments I've been keeping up here.
Yes, indeed. No, your skin looks very young and very smooth.
Thank you.
It does. And I understand you're also 8 months pregnant.
Yes.
You all have a beautiful little baby girl coming shortly.
Yes, that's right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We can't wait.
Yes, indeed. Now, as far as the folks watching right now, what would you tell them about your experience with the staff here as well?
Oh, the staff is wonderful. I've worked with almost every staff member here since I've been a client for so long, and they're all very gracious and caring. Dr. Ginnan especially is very kind and patient and explains everything to you, as well as his staff. So they're all very qualified, and you know, if there's any discomfort that you feel or anything that you know, you would like to address, they're always open to that. So really a wonderful group of people.
Well, on that note, we'd like to thank you for joining us, taking some time in your day, and
Sure.
being a guest on our program.
Thank you so much.
It was our pleasure. We're now back with Dr. Ginnan. The patients seem very happy with the results. They actually love you all, not just you, Dr. Ginnan, but the staff here. And I can tell you from speaking with these patients and seeing some of the before and after pics, the results seem to be very natural. They're looking years younger, but in a natural way. Because as I mentioned to one of the patients just interviewed, no one wants to look like they've had something done when it comes to aesthetics. And to do it, the combination of these treatments, or one or two of them, to do it, have these treatments and to look so young, but in a natural way, I think is so powerful. That's what we all yearn for ultimately when you think about it.
It is. Nobody wants to leave here and go into work the next day or on Monday after the weekend, and for people to sort of jump back and say, oh, what did you have done? You know, people want to have the perception that, you know, oh, you look more rested. You look like you had a great weekend. You know, what's different about you? But they don't want to say, oh, wow, you had filler in your cheeks. That's really not the result we're going for.
Yes, indeed. Now, I know it varies patient to patient, and certainly depending on what treatment or treatments they had done, but generally, do you like them to come back for a follow-up visit certain many months later, or how do you normally work with that?
Ideally, we like our patients to be coming back for follow-ups over time. So whatever the treatment they're getting from a minimally invasive standpoint, we like people to come back and do follow-up treatments maybe once every 3 months, once every 6 months, once every year, to help maintain the results. Because even if you get phenomenal results, the aging process still continues. The damage that occurred from your sun exposure, actually the damage that you're seeing now as a 40-year-old, for instance, is from sunburns that you had when you were 15 to 20 years old. And that damage isn't going away. So we want to keep doing things to keep that skin as youthful as possible.
Yes, indeed. Now, we're literally out of time, Dr. Ginnan, but I wanted to ask you, before I let you go, you and your practice, Medalase Aesthetic Centers, I understand you have 2 locations, actually, not only here in Fairfax, but also in Arlington, Virginia, have established a reputation for excellence in patient care. You've helped so many patients over the years feel better, look years younger in a very natural, healthy way. And I just wanted to ask you what you feel helps separate you and your practice apart from many of the others.
I think 2 things, really. One is I need to fall asleep very well at night when I go home. And it's very important to me to be honest with my patients. It's very important to me to say to somebody, look, I don't know exactly what your results are going to be. I know for the vast majority of people, this is a great procedure and you should see great results, but everybody's a little bit different. And that's important for all of my patients to know going in. The second thing that probably differentiates us is no matter what aesthetic procedure I'm doing on the outside, if you are not healthy on the inside, your chances of getting the best result are minimized. So in addition to working these procedures on the outside of the body, we like to focus on people's internal health. So as part of my focus on functional medicine, I try to convince my patients to look at their nutritional status, look at their hormone status, look at their gut health, their intestinal integrity. All of these things make a difference as to how they're going to heal and how they're going to age long term. So I try to get my patients to focus on the internal things as well.
Not to mention the personalized patient care that you all just don't say, like a lot of practices, you actually do. And the patients today all confirm that. I mean, you know them individually by first name. It's not like one of the patients said, oh, I've been to other practices and I felt like I was kind of, rushed along, like next patient, that type of thing. That doesn't happen here. You all really seem to go the extra mile. And I know it's a cliche, but it's so true that to really get to know each patient and to customize the right treatment or treatments for each individual patient. Because you're doing a great job, Dr. Ginnan, you and your staff here.
Thank you.
And on that note, we'd like to thank you for joining us, being a guest in our program. We'd love to have you back on in the future.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.